Hello everybody. When I left off last time, my game is broke. When I run it, nothing renders. Don't worry, I know pretty much exactly why that is. Here when I'm adding things to my shadow buffer, changing all of these things, the render targets, the whatever, the raster state and the viewport, and all of that is getting changed and it's not rendering because it's not getting changed back. So let me do that, and I should hopefully get my game back. And then the goal of today, hopefully, I don't know, we'll see, is to actually get shadows rendering within the game. So we'll see if that works. Okay, so my render targets needs to be render target view, I believe. The set state is like this raster state. Is that what it was? Rasterizer state, probably. And the viewport, I believe, is just viewport. Alright. Set render targets. I think that's got to be the address, most likely. No. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's what's going on here. That should be that, and then I need the depth stencil view. Yeah. From viewport. Okay, and that also needs to be an address. There we go. And I got the game back. Great. Yeah, so next I want to do something, but I don't know what. Let me look back at when I'm initializing my shadow map generator. So I don't think I need that. So I'm building this texture here. So this is what I'm confused about. So I'm building this step stencil view and I'm building the shader resource view, and I'm binding them both with the same texture. Which, by the way, I forgot the W when I was renaming that. Oh, got them all. Cool. Yeah, so anyway, I'm binding the same texture. Where's the texture actually? I guess the texture is shadow map. So I'm binding the same texture to both of these. So I believe that means, and I'm not freeing the texture, I'm not releasing it. So I think that just means that when I write to this one, when I write to the depth buffer, I'm going to automatically be able to read from that one and it'll have all these updates to it. So I'm going to assume that's going to be the case. And then, so I think this is for if I want a stencil buffer too, like 8 bits for the stencil buffer, but I don't. I want all 32 bits for the depth, right? So that'll just give me more information about the depth. So I think I could change these to D32 float. Yeah, there's an option for float. And this should also be R32 float. So I think doing that doesn't affect anything. All right. So let me go to when I'm rendering, or not rendering, but when I'm setting up the depth, setting up the shadow buffer. Yeah, I'm not really using these. I need to set up the light, or the shadow matrix, the view matrix from the light's perspective, I guess I should say. So for that, I'm going to need a couple matrices here. Matrix for yeah, so I guess I'll call it shadow perspective. This will be the perspective view of the shadow, and then matrix for shadow view, and then that'll be like the view matrix for the light perspective. And so I guess, You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna change this because I set it up to just only render one mesh at a time, or not render, but add one mesh to the shadow buffer at a time. I'm gonna change it to just take in the whole textured mesh buffer. And so to do that, I don't think anything really changes here. I just really need to put all this in a loop. Total meshes. Okay, so then instead of mesh, I'm going to use buffer, and then that's index counts at I. I think I can copy that. Alright, whoops. And then that's going to give me an error down here on 1052. Oh yeah, that should also. What the heck? I got VS Code froze on me. That's terrible. Okay, so hopefully, whoops. That's all good now. And yeah, so that line is now giving me an error because I need to call this mesh is to buffer. Shut up. And then this is no longer just a single mesh. This is the entire, what is it? Textured mesh buffer, the whole buffer. So that doesn't complain about anything. That's good. So I need to now set up these matrices. Let me first set up the perspective. That's going to be here, I guess. I can do that here. Shadow map generator dot shadow perspective equals create perspective projection. I'm just going to set it up the exact same as my camera. 70 with the aspect ratio, except for it's going to have a different aspect ratio actually. I'm just going to have it square. And then, which makes me think I should probably take in a shadow map width and a shadow map height. So yeah, here when I initialize it, I'm gonna just set these arbitrarily for now. Just make it 1024. I don't think I need much higher resolution than that, at least for testing purposes. And then I'm going to use these in place of these here. And where else did I use those? Here. Okay, so that's all good. Yeah, so I set up the perspective matrix there. And let me now do the same for the view matrix. So that I only need to set up once here, so that's going to be shadow map generator dot vertex constants. No, wait, what am I doing? Although I do need to set those up too, right? Yeah, so yeah, I'm right. So the camera matrix is basically the Shadow perspective. Actually, that should be projection. I have that worded wrong. Perspective, projection. There we go. Because it could also be an orthogonal projection. Anyway, and then that's going to be multiplied by the view. And then the view is going to be generated by, well, you know what, I'm going to need to make up a new look at function, I think. But anyway, it's going to introduce an error, I believe. Yeah, 9378. Because that is now projection. Okay, so I want to use the lookat function that I have here in my graphics utilities file. If I could find it, why can't I see it? H-I-J-K, there we go. Yeah, so I have this lookat function here, but this is specific to a camera, so I'm going to copy this and put a different version of it in my mathematics file that doesn't have to worry about a camera. It's just going to take in a matrix and do the same thing, but just only do it for that one matrix. So that means that these yeah, so this would just be a vector 3 for all of these. I'm going to change this to just be U. And then put U there. And then so that way I don't need camera arrow for any of these. This would also just be vector 3, I believe. Actually, you don't need to worry about that at all. And then all of this actually is just going to be mat angle or arrow. And then all of this I got to get rid of. And I don't care about that. Okay, so that should do it, I believe. I feel like it's not going to compile though. Nope. Matrix 4. And that's all it was. Cool. Okay, so going back here to this area, I want to actually let me move this here. Okay, so the shadow, so the camera matrix is the projection times the view. I gotta build up the view. That's gonna be look at. I'm gonna pass in the shadow map generators dot shadow resource, not that. Shadow view. Should probably specify that that's a matrix. But anyway, the position of the thing is whatever the light position is. And then, oh, I have shadow target here. All right. Yeah, so that should set that up. Let me put the address of that. Maybe I need to do that. Yeah, so that should do that. And then I need to use my context to update a sub-resource. The sub-resource is the, what the heck? Shadow map generator dot vertex constant buffer, and I want to put 0, 0. The data is the address of the shadow map generator dot vertex constants, and I don't need that, and I don't need that. Okay. All right, so now in theory, I am rendering a shadow map, but I don't know if it's working. So I think what I'm going to do is attempt to render the shadow map as a texture, just as a regular quad to the screen. Yeah, so let me do this. Add quad to buffer. I'm going to pass in my game state. I'm going to pass in vector 2, 0, vector 2, I don't know, 500. And then I need a texture, so it's in my view. I need to do it like this, I believe. This is going to be kind of ghetto, but whatever. Shadow texture, and then the shadow texture's texture is equal to the shadow map generators dot shadow resource view. And then I can put st there. Okay, what is happening now? So when I render that, I just get a black quad, which is kind of not different than what I expected at all. Definitely didn't expect it to just work first try. So I know, first of all, I definitely, oh yeah, I have to clear, whoops, I have to clear that shadow map generator depth view thingy, whatever it's called, the shadow depth view. No, that's not. Yeah, shadow resource view, shadow depth view. Yeah, okay, so that should do that. So what happens when I do that? Oh, okay, so it's red now. Which, oh, that's a good sign. So that, what I was talking about earlier with whether or not this depth stencil view automatically updates this render target view or shadow resource view. Anyway, yeah, so by changing this, by actually clearing this and seeing the difference, that tells me that it is writing to it, which is a good sign. But yeah, I actually forgot that this is just a single channel, all 1 bit, so I mean all 32 bits for one in the red channel, I guess. If that sounds right. So I'm gonna have to kind of hijack my canvas shader for a minute here. This is just gonna be temporary. Let me. Okay, so when I'm pulling from the texture, I just want the red part of it. I'm going to abbreviate this to C, and then I'm going to just for now return float 4 of CCC1. Uh-oh. Wait, what? Oh, I know what's going on. There we go. Okay, so now it's completely white. And I want to say it's working, but the problem is I need to linearize the depth of this thing just for debugging purposes, because I'm using a perspective projection, which basically makes the depth from 0 to 1,000. And this is all getting squashed between a number between 0 and 1. I don't remember the formula to do this. There was like a formula for this. Let me see if I can figure this out. Float, linearize, takes in another float. And then so I think I need to get it between positive, or between 0 and 1. So f equals f times 0.5 plus 0.5. Is that right? I don't know. I don't remember. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go. I know this website here, learnopengl. Is it .org? I think it's .org. No. Oh, I think my internet's not working. Oh no, it is. Oh, it's .com. Okay, so learnopengl.com. I know I'm not using OpenGL. I'm using DirectX, but I know that they have the formula for linearizing. Linearizing a depth thing. Depth component. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's here somewhere though. I thought it was. Oh, I think it's down here. Yeah, there we go. So it's times 2 minus 1. Okay, so I need to get it the opposite of that. Times 2 minus 1. And then it takes a near plane, far plane. Okay. I don't remember this. I'm going to just call this NP, 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 FP, 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 and this would be F, I suppose. Alright, I'm going to also take in NP and FP, just so I can change it on the fly. And then when I call that function, I need to divide it by the far plane. So, okay, so C equals linearize, passing in C, 0.001, 1000, and divided by far plane, which is 1000. I don't know if the 0.0 makes a difference. I know it does in OpenGL sometimes. Okay, that doesn't really change anything. What if it's not 1000? What if it's more like 100? Still not working, but I think I just gotta fiddle with the numbers. You know what? I got a good idea. I think it's a good idea. It'll be a good idea if it works. But a way to test if it's actually just rendering anything at all, any depth at all, is I think what would happen if I just change this to be the identity matrix. Nothing. Okay, that's a problem. Camera matrix. Oh, you know what? I know what's going on. Well, I'm going to leave that there for testing, but I'm not updating the shadow matrix. So yeah, I mean not the shadow matrix, the model matrix. Dot vertex constants dot model matrix is equal to build a model matrix using the buffer positions at I, the buffer scales at I, and the buffer orientations at I. How does that work? Yay! Looks a little bit binary to me. I don't know why. Oh wait, maybe it's... Wait, where did it go? Canvas reader. What if I put this back to 1000? I don't really like that. What if I make it like ridiculously small, like 10? I don't know, I would expect it to like kind of fade in from... It's like the colors on it are either black or white. There's no like gray. I was expecting there to be a little bit more gradient in there. I wonder if that's something I'm doing. Let me see. What if I... It's not using depth at all other than here, right? Okay, so then what if I then go back to this? Yeah, it's not completely gray. There is something there to that. Okay, so I don't think I want the projection to be so drastic. Let me put it, instead of from 1,000, let me just do 100 for now. And then I think I gotta change the shader as well. Yeah. Not quite. I don't know, what if I only did like 50 or something like that? So what if I only did 50 but then put it back to this identity matrix here? Yeah, it's still very black and white, and I think that's what's causing my problem. If I could figure out what that is, then I shouldn't have an issue. Vertex constants. That should be good. Okay, I'm gonna call that good for now. I don't know why. Something I'm missing, I'm sure. So when I put this back, okay, now it almost looks completely white. Hmm. So it's R32, typeless. Everything's good here. D32, R32. So it is definitely writing to this thing, the shader resource view. So that's good. Oh, I just need to figure out how to get it to render the right thing at the right time. I am not figuring it out, but I will get it. There's S equal sign. So yeah, I think it's rendering everything right. It's just the way I'm deciding to try to render it to my screen for debugging purposes is not right. So I can't figure out how to fix the debugging. Can't debug the debugging. Camera matrix is the, so I mean everything's fine. It's just I don't know why. 70 aspect ratio of 100 should be all good, right? And this is being just really weird. What did I change? Because it did seem like it was working. I kinda. Wait, so if it's 0 to 1, 2. Okay, so it's making it negative 1 to 1. So, I don't know. I'm happy it's rendering anything at all. Like, I honestly didn't think I was going to even get that far. But I'm a little disappointed that it's not looking like a depth buffer. It's like either black or white, and I don't get why there's no in between. Let me go back to this. Okay, so linearized depth, just just to eliminate any sort of possibility. What am I missing? Is it the way it's being written, or is it the way I'm rendering it? My theory is the way it's being rendered, but I don't know for sure. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Well, let me eliminate any of these possibilities either. I mean, that's stupid. That shouldn't really change anything. Of course not. Yeah, nothing's getting changed there. Everything here is fine. Or so I think. Oh yeah, that wouldn't change anything anyway. Okay, so it's not the projection then. So the projection is potentially fine. What could it be? Don't do that. Okay, so I don't know what the problem could be, but I'm gonna try one more thing. Let's see, where is my initial light position? So what if I brought it way down? And then, let's see, what's that gonna look like first of all? It's gonna look a little bit more moody, but it's fine. And then what if I come back here and put this back? What now happens? Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness. Okay, hey. Alright, that was what I was expecting. Alright, I don't know why it was acting weird earlier, but I fixed it. It's cool. Alright, yes. So with that, I should be able to put shadows into my game. But it's not showing the instance meshes, which is to be expected because I'm not telling it to. But I should do that though. I should really do that. In fact, I'm gonna go for that and then probably call it a day and do the actual shadows next time. So I think I'm gonna stop randomizing these things and just put them in like a structured way. I'm gonna say, I don't know, I mod, what's 256 square, or square root of 256, 16? 16 by 16? Yeah. So I mod 256, or I mod 16 rather. I don't know, times 5. And this will be I divided by 16 times 5. And then how many am I actually adding to the... Let's add all 256. There we go. Let me I mod 16 offset this a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I think to do this, I'm going to keep this here for now. I'm going to have to make a whole new shader, I think. I think it's more or less the exact same as the textured mesh vertex instance main. You know what, I'm gonna copy the textured mesh shader. Because I think I'm actually gonna need to copy the whole data structure over, which is fine. I don't think it's gonna really affect anything. In fact, yeah, everything still runs there. So yeah, I just really need to now, instead of model matrix, it'll be input dot instance matrix, and that's all I need, right? Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna come over here and make another vertex shader. And you know what? I remember the documentation saying something about how you shouldn't use null for a pixel shader, or some drivers won't accept null for a pixel shader. So it recommended that you use a blank or like a minimal pixel shader. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then put that in here. I think it could just be void. I'll call this pixel main. It'll take a vertex output for an input. And I think that's it. I think it'll just be blank. Cool. So now when I initialize this, vertex instance blob and oops, pixel blob, error blob. Okay, so this will be vertex instance main, vertex instance blob. This one will be pixel main. This will be PS version 5. Pixel blob, error blob. And then we gotta actually build a shader here. So that will be vertex instance blob, vertex instance shader. All right, how did that go? That didn't go so well. 314. Oh, create pixel shader. There we go. And it still runs. Wow, impressive. So yeah, then I should tell it to actually use that pixel shader instead of null. So it's going to be alright, cool, and that still works. So then I'm going to just for now take in the instance buffer. I'm going to repurpose total equals iBuffer total meshes, make my loops. And then before this, I need to probably set some stuff and then do some stuff here. Let me copy what I got down here. Render textured mesh, instance buffer. Definitely need this. I buffer. And what am I missing? What do I need to set before that? Oh, I know I need to do. Render texture mesh instance buffer. I need to set that. I think that's it. I don't know. Add meshes to shadow buffer. Okay, so it looks like I got one of them in there, but they're um, not working. What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? Okay, so I set the samplers, that's already been done. Set the shaders. Oh yeah, I need to change the shader. Boom, just like that. Got it. Cool. All right. I am actually very impressed with the progress that I made. I did not think I was going to get that. It's working. I don't really feel like going into trying to actually get the shadows to go in, although I think that might be the easy part, but I would prefer to go in next time with the confidence that I have now that it'll be easy rather than face the disappointment that it won't be as easy as I'm thinking it will be. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and save what I got here. Git add all. Git commit tag m. I'm going to say rendering depth, say shadow depth buffer as texture. All right, that's saving, and I'm out of here. Thank you, everybody. I will see you next time.